The Eagles lose 22-19 in overtime versus the Los Angeles Chargers, and the collapse is just only getting worse. If anything, I think they've officially hit collapse status, but all I can think about is 2023 and how we're pretty much reliving the same exact season, but instead of the defense being awful, it's now the offense. And this team is spiraling. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix this. They have a couple easy games down the stretch, but at this point, the way the Eagles are playing, there is no easy game, and there's so many ways that this could go, but they really have to get it together, and I just have little to no faith after last night's performance. And we have to start with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had his worst game in the NFL in an Eagles uniform, by far his worst game for the team. It just was awful. 21 for 40, 0 touchdown passes, 0 rushing touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and on one of those interceptions, he somehow manages to get the ball back and then fumble it just on the same play. So really, he had 5 turnovers. I don't know if the fumble counted. It was by far just an awful game from Jalen Hurts. Jalen just did not look confident in his reads. He looked like he was getting confused with coverages. Certain plays, there were definitely some positives there, and we'll talk about them as the video goes on. But I have to talk about the negatives. I mean, there was just so much yesterday. That's not Jalen Hurts' brand of football, playing reckless football, consistently turning the ball over. That's not what he does. If anything, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league at not turning the football over. But it's just been a problem these last couple of weeks. And I would say that the stretch that he's been on, maybe other than some of the stretches he had in 2021, but I don't remember it ever even being this bad. He has just been awful since the bye. Since the bye, he has been awful. And it's just really hard to, I guess, have faith in Jalen Hurts right now. And I'm going to say this right now because I'm not one of those fans. And again, if you feel the need that the Eagles really need to go to Tanner McKee, again, that's your opinion. I respect it. I'm nowhere near that point. I'm still a Jalen Hurts believer. I still believe in this guy. Again, 10 months ago, I have to remind everyone, 10 months ago, Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl, and he won the Super Bowl MVP. Mind you, that was the second Super Bowl he's been to, and he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in both games. It's just a reminder of, again, we are not seeing, obviously, the peaks of where this guy is, but hearing a lot of people talk about, I want to see Tanner McKee, respectfully, that's why you're not a head coach. That's why you're not in an NFL front office. And again, you can have that opinion, but I just think it's way too emotional. You cannot bench the Super Bowl MVP at this point in the season. It just doesn't make sense. And when you bench a Super Bowl MVP, again, not even a calendar year after he actually won that award in that game, I just think you put yourself in a terrible situation because as a franchise, if you make that move, you can't go back from that move. And I do really like Tanner McKee. I honestly think he would be all right in this offense. But at the same time, we're not there yet as a team. This team can still make the playoffs. They do somehow still have something to play for the rest of the season. And I just think that would be a complete and utter panic move by the Eagles, and I think that would be a potential organization-changing move. It would just mess up so many things. I don't really see the point of going there, but at the same time, Jalen Hurts, he needs to be better. He needs to be better, and the criticism has to be on him because, in my opinion, for as bad as the Eagles played last night, if he doesn't turn the ball over that many times, they probably win. So it just is what it is, but let's get into those 4 interceptions now. The first pick was, I'd say, arguably his worst, maybe the last one, but Jalen Hurts, he drops back, and the defensive tackle for the Chargers actually drops back in coverage, and just pretty much Jalen didn't see him. Jalen was already throwing over the middle. The defensive tackle intercepted it. It was just a good play by the Chargers there. The second one was really, I would say, the one that he had the least amount of blame on. Yes, he did kind of default to his read there, but from what I saw in film breakdown from experts, Smitty, he fell down on the route. There was supposed to be a curl. Jalen was obviously anticipating him not to fall there. And also from what I was hearing, Smitty was supposed to kind of put a little bit more leverage into coming back for the ball, and he just didn't. Dante Jackson jumped it. It's intercepted. Not as much I think you can do there with Hurts. Again, he still threw the football, but I think that was more on Devontae. The third interception was a mix. He put the ball a little too much oomph on that ball to A.J. Brown over the middle. It was also a little too high for the pocket that he had. Troy Aikman was talking about it. Jalen Hurts should have thrown a better football. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get perfect footballs every single time to you, and that ball was still catchable. In my opinion, it's more on Jalen just because it was a poor throw. But at the same time, A.J. Brown didn't catch that football. He just didn't. And that resulted in an interception. A.J. still got to bring that one down. So I'm going to still reserve blame for Hurts on that one. But at the same time, it also goes on A.J. Brown as well. And the last one was just rough. You're rolling out. You're throwing off your back foot. You're not setting your feet, which is something he did not do a lot of last night. And he's trying to fit a ball in a tight window to everyone on this team, not Goddard, not A.J. Brown, not Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson. And I like Jahan Dotson, but why was that the guy to force that to there? In my opinion, that's all on Jalen Hurts. It was a great play by the corner, but dude, come on, man. You have to know the moment. You have to understand what we're playing for, and forcing a ball there, just it doesn't do anything. And again, you were just doing it off your back foot. You're already moving in the pocket. Jalen Hurts, he needs to trust the pocket a little bit more, whether that's him running, which he hasn't been done either, or he just needs to sit a little bit more in the pocket, because he just is running so much in there that I think it's impeding his ability to, throw as accurate balls. And I just think we saw a little bit of that again last night, where he goes on the run. It's not the cleanest throw. It's into a tight window to a receiver that really is not the best, and that's the result you're going to get. So I'm putting that one fully on Jalen. It was just awful. My last segment on Jalen Hurts before we move on really is his struggles due to the offense. Is it him regressing? I feel like he's definitely not played his brand of football. I also think the loss of Lane Johnson has really impacted him. Again, if you look at the statistics, this is prior to even Jalen Hurts. When Lane Johnson's out, the Eagles' offense just does not run at as an efficient level as it usually does. So that's something to look into. I think also, again, the injuries to Dickerson, Juergens was out one game. I do think that's impacting him. But I do wonder, again, is this more scheme-based, or are we just not helping him out? But some of these throws, it just really is like, oh my God, dude, can you read the correct coverage? So I don't know. There's a lot to think about with Jalen, but we got to move on. Now on to A.J. Brown. He actually had 6 receptions for 100 yards, but that's not going to be the story of his game. He could have had a way better day. He had a really, really early drop. He then, of course, had the drop on the interception, which led to an interception, That was brutal. And then the one that was most brutal, in my opinion, was the missed touchdown. Jalen Hurts had the best ball all night, throws a beautiful a beautiful ball on that play, and that could have won the game, and it was right in the breadbasket, and AJ just dropped it. And again, I've been in AJ's camp. I'm pro AJ Brown. I am. But, bro, when you've done all you've done this season, you're going to hear the criticism today, because, let's get AJ Brown the ball. The Eagles have lost 3 straight since getting you the ball consistently. And again, I still think AJ had a great game. But there was just so many things that really, I can't say a great game. He had a good game. But these things are going to drop him down, because he could have had way better of a game. And again, it just comes back to all the antics this year. And again, he was rightfully so to be frustrated. But when you are that public with your frustrations, and then you have a game like that costs the team, you're going to, deal with a lot of criticism. And I think rightfully so. He just needed to make those catches, especially that touchdown one. That was absolutely brutal. Saquon Barkley actually had a good game for the Eagles. 20 carries for 122 yards and a touchdown. His longest run was 52 yards on the touchdown run. Anyone saying that this guy's lost a step, I don't see it. I just don't see it with this. And I was feeding into a little bit of that discussion. More for me, it was about his vision. I just don't think he was hitting the correct holes. There were some holes that have been there the last couple of weeks, and he just hasn't hit them. But I could not get on the same page that, Saquon's lost a touch. We didn't, or lost a little bit of speed. We haven't seen that. Again, versus the Giants and in Philly on his last big run, he didn't lose a step on that play. And really, I think, again, it's just been a lot of, this offensive line just being terrible within especially the guards in the center just have been awful at run blocking. So I'm glad Saquon had a great game. I'm really happy that he did. And this is something I'm going to bring up later, but I feel like it's good to bring up now. Why did the Eagles stop running him late? Again, this is what they do every single week. I don't understand it. He got 3 carries in the last quarter. Why? He's had his most successful game probably all year, other than maybe the Giants game. And you're getting away from him in big spots. You're making your quarterback throw so much. Look, I'm going to save the rest of this for the coaching part of this video, but I just thought the Eagles needed to give him the ball more, especially in the fourth quarter. It is absolutely ridiculous that they didn't. I just thought it was a joke. Now on to my gripes with both Patullo and Nick. Nick. And I'm saying Nick because, again, at the end of the day, it's Nick's offense. It falls on him. He's the head coach. You take responsibility for it. And he would say the same thing. I got to start again with the offensive line. You got to snip the penalties in the butt. Now, yes, the penalties are being committed by players. They're being committed by players. But at the same time, it's on the coaching to get rid of it. And they have not done that yet. And it just is so frustrating because this is not what the Eagles have been the last year, or a couple of years, excuse me. And it just feels like every single time they get a big penalty, it's when the Eagles get a 10 to 15, 20-yard play. Oh, bring it back. Like, oh my God, it's just infuriating. I mean, seeing the amount of times I saw last night that Jordan Mailata is holding, it is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just so frustrating. They gotta get rid of the penalties. They have to. Once again, the Eagles are 4 for 13 on third down. They continue to be the worst third down offense in the league, something that is just absolutely ridiculous to me. I don't know how you can be that bad. Why do you throw the ball 40 times when your quarterback has thrown 4 interceptions? Why was that the play? And again, I said it earlier. Why would you do that much passing in this type of game when you've had success on the ground with Barkley? I did not understand that one. From what I saw last night, again, there were some things I liked from the offense, and there were definitely plays there. There was actually that one, I think it was maybe a screen pass to Goddard. There was some creativity there, but overall, when you look at a majority of the plays, I'm seeing A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith be not that far from each other. The routes aren't the best, and I just hate the amount of routes that they call to the outside. It limits the Eagles' yak. The Eagles have the least amount of yak in the league. If you don't know what yak is, it's yards after your catch. Oh, it doesn't make any sense to me. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are both yak guys. Get these guys in space. Let them run. We don't want to put them to the sideline. That helps the defense out. It's a tighter throw for Jalen Hurts to make. You already have a banged up offensive line. I just don't see it. I don't see it, and it's so frustrating because it's just football 101. It's what I've been saying all year. I just don't understand what the coaches are seeing at the NovaCare complex during the week. It is just absolutely insane, and my brain still can't comprehend it. Overall, I think this one is on Nick and Patullo. Of course, yes, Jalen Hurts was a huge factor. I'm not saying that. But just the overall, again, how the offense looked, it's on them. Patullo, I didn't like the play calling. But again, this is Nick's offense. What is the philosophy here? I just don't get it. And again, they're so scared to run on some of these short yardage plays, especially on like these third downs. I just don't understand it. It is actually so frustrating. I was just extremely disappointed again in Patullo and in Nick Sirianni. He's going to get more involved in the offense this week. It didn't look great. So it's just so frustrating. But again, it's the same thing every single week. Now onto the defense, something I can actually be proud about. Man, this defense played lights out last night. For what they were required to do, consistently getting on the field, your offense is giving you absolutely no hope, especially how much they've been on the field the last couple games. I was just really proud of them. 109 passing yards allowed all night last night. They did a great job. They got a forced fumble recovery from Byron Young. Adoree Jackson had an interception. I just loved what I saw from the Eagles defense last night, especially the fight. They did not stop fighting all last night. And I thought a majority of this unit made plays last night. Adoree Jackson, he looked really good last night. Again, the interception. I thought Q looked good. Oh my God, Cooper DeJean on Ladd McConkey. I don't remember which play it was. I think it was in the first half. He just straight up strapped. Sorry about that if I hit the mic. He just strapped Ladd McConkey. Dude, this, again, DeJean is just him. DeJean is him. I loved what I saw from the secondary last night. I thought Bond was making plays. I thought Nakobe should have had a sack last night. He made some plays, though. And again, the entire defensive line, 7 sacks from those guys. I was just so proud of what I saw of them. And again, they were continuing to fight. We saw Jelix Hunt with 2.5. Byron Young had 1.5. Let's see, what else do I have? Nakobe Dean had 1. Bond had a 0.5. And Jordan Davis had 1.5. And this was all without Jalen Carter. All without Jalen Carter as well. I'm just so proud of the defense. And that's what's so frustrating to me is, depending on how this year goes, we have to see. But right now the narrative is the Eagles are wasting not only another year with this core, but they're wasting a year with this defense. And I'm not saying that they're on the level that they were last year. They're not. But they still are a very solid defense. They're a good enough defense to win a Super Bowl with, in my opinion, especially when they're healthy with Carter. and you're giving this bad of an offensive, performance out each week. It's just criminal. I was saying this last night to my friends watching the game. Imagine if the Eagles even had an average offense plus that defense. They're probably the best team in the NFC just because of the support that they're actually able to give to that unit. It's just a joke. I feel so bad for that group. I'm glad they're fighting. But, man, I just don't know how they're keeping it going. It must be a pride thing because this offense is just a joke. Special teams, again, I'll make it quick. Jake Elliott, he went 2 for 3. I feel weird about Jake because he made some clutch kicks, but at the same time, bro, you can't keep missing kicks, especially kicks that are inside that aren't from that deep. There's no weather impacting this. I don't know. That was a little annoying just because he did the same thing in Dallas, but the game is not going to fall on Jake Elliott, so I'm really not going to kill him. Britton Covey, I thought actually looked really, really good as a punt returner. I like seeing him back there. Thank God they got rid of Gibson. That's really all I have for special teams. Now on to the future. The next game, you have the Raiders at home. In theory, the Eagles should win that game. But right now, I have absolutely no confidence that they will. I think they still probably will because I could see this defense overwhelming that offense for the Raiders. But this offense has given me absolutely nothing to be confident in for that group. And I just don't see it right now for them. So I could see that being a low-scoring game. If you lose to the Raiders, this thing might need to get nuked. I don't know where we're going to go after that. It will just be embarrassing if they lose there. I don't know. I can't say I think that they're going to beat the Raiders. They should. I'll say that. Then we go down the stretch. You have 2 games against the Commanders, and you have 1 against Buffalo. You should beat the Commanders, but again, I don't know, and you're going to get killed by Buffalo. Like, you're going to get killed up there. There's no way you're going to outscore them. Again, this is all for down the line, but the Eagles can still win the division. They can still host a playoff game, but it just doesn't matter right now because of how awful they look offensively. You're not going to beat any team with the amount of offensive production you're getting, and that game's going to be in the link if you win the division. I should feel confident going into the link. But right now, if that game is to be played, I would absolutely have no confidence in the Eagles right now, and that's just where I'm at. That's all I had in this video. Oh my God, they pissed me off so much, but I will be back here next week. If you liked the video, feel free to give it a like. If you like my type of content, feel free to subscribe. If you have any thoughts down below in the game, please comment them. My TikTok will be in the description down below. And if you made this far in the video, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.